Vaishali is there. Vaishali is a professor at head, I think, head of chemical engineering department in Raipur Institute of Technology. Thite Sahab is the professor of in RIT, Raipur Institute of Technology. So many their students also have joined, and I'm seeing so many from Ravi Shankar University also. I think so many people will students will be joining in due course of time. I think by 16:15, no, 6:15, everybody would have joined, but our speakers have not joined, I think.
Dr.
Are you there?
Dr. Sai is coming in 5-10 minutes because
Nair
he has
Sahab,
just returned from department.
Okay. Dr. Nair Sahab, are you there, sir? Nair Sahab? Nair Sahab will be joining. He is. We had a talk with him. So
Actually, 5-10 minutes is for joining only.
6:15, from 6:15 we'll start from 6:15.
Yes.
Hello, Nair Sahab.
वेबिनार अटेंड कर रहे हैं, वेबिनार.
Okay. So I welcome all the honorable members of Institution of Engineers and all the.
पानी ज्यादा तो नहीं गिर रहा है, बाढ़ तो नहीं आई.
रमाकांत
सबको म्यूट कर दिया.
हमारे बाहर से तो कोई नहीं आया है. देखिए कॉर्पोरेट मेंबर्स, काउंसिल मेंबर्स कोई हैं क्या इसमें? अभी आएंगे. वैशाली इज देयर.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Vaishali. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Very good. Good that you joined along with your residents.
Yes.
It will be a very useful webinar. This is the first time we are organizing this webinar on chemical engineering. Yes,
sir.
And we also wanted some suggestions from you or from the faculty of Raipur Institute of Technology to suggest us some topics in which we can organize the webinar. So some problem solving type of webinar in engineering discipline.
In future.
In future. Because there are so many problems faced by the industries, be it mechanical, chemical, anything. We have organized so many programs in environmental engineering, sustainable development, but not on. This is for the first time I am seeing that we are organizing this. And the mechanical engineering also, we have to organize so many other webinars. Civil engineering, we have to do one, but for some reason or the other, we are skipping this. So I would request you, please discuss with your colleagues in Raipur Institute of Technology, and we'll organize one with RIT the next time.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir.
Maybe in environmental, we have organized so many webinars. So see that some meaningful webinar is organized in association with you.
That's why we have encouraged our students to attend the webinar, because this is especially first time this is organized by the Institution of Engineers for Chemical Engineers.
Yeah. We have two distinguished speakers today. And you'll see that the knowledge in chemical engineering, they will be benefited by the knowledge of our honorable speakers. Dr. Nair is a known name in chemical engineering. He is a chemical engineer. He is also an IAS, and he has he is a very known name in this field.
They are the inspirations for our students. That's why we have encouraged.
And a very senior council member, heading so many committees, and a very distinguished person, Nair Sahab. And Saha Sahab, as you all know, he is from Bilaspur, Guru Ghasidas University, and he is also a renowned person. I think all of you must be knowing, because you have all the interaction with the chemical departments of Chhattisgarh.
Yes, sir.
So I think both of these presentation will be very, very useful to your students. And for the benefit of our students who have joined today, I just wanted to inform that we'll be giving them certificates also in recognition of this, attending this webinar.
Yes.
So thank you, Chhattisgarh. Thank you, Vaisali ji, and for joining. And it's good that you have joined along with your residents. And I think with the help of these, I think it will be a very successful webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Please keep supporting us, Vaisali ji, with your suggestions and technical interactions. Hai
Definitely, sir. Yeah.
Is he, Theta ji there? Theta sahab? Hello? Theta sahab, are you there?
Hello?
Theta sahab, are you there?
Yes.
No, not, I'm Tiwari. Tiwari ji is also, Sukumar Nair sahab is joining. Nair sahab, Ramakant ji, Nair sahab ko dikhana jara. Hello?
जी सर
Ramakant ji. Sir, Nair
जी
sahab,
सर
Nair sahab, you have joined? Hello? Nair sahab has joined, I think. I'm seeing his name.
I'm here. I'm here, Anilji. I'm here. Very
सर
much
मेरा
here.
माइक
Good evening, sir. It's nice that you have joined.
Yeah, good
And,
evening. Good evening, Anilji and our friends. Good evening.
thank you. Mr. Nair, he is our chief guest today. He is there. He has joined. And we are waiting for the Mr. Saha. He is stuck up with some. Well, in 2-3 minutes he will be joining.
Oh, fine,
And
fine.
it's good, sir, that we are thankful to you for joining.
Yeah, no. When you call me, I'm there always.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you,
It's a
sir.
pleasure for me also to be with you.
No, I'm obliged, sir.
But for
And,
the pandemic, I would have been physically present with you.
any physical activity, if it's there, we'll definitely call you, sir. And
Certainly,
so,
certainly.
I'm glad to inform you, sir, that so many chemical engineers from different academic institutions have also joined.
Very good.
And from Raipur Institute of Technology, some of the universities where chemical engineering department is there, NIT and other, so many academic students have also joined. They will be benefited by your presentation, sir.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I have told them all your biodata I have already circulated.
It's all some small requirement of these kinds of presentations, that's all.
Yeah. It will be very, very beneficial. I know, because I was just taking the feedback from our chemical engineers who are here about your topics and other things, and they find it very, very useful. And the other topic is also, Mr. Saha's topic is on his fluidized bed technology and industrial application. That will also be very useful. He's a professor in the Central University, Guru Ghasidas University in Bilaspur. That is the Bilaspur. You must be knowing, sir. You must have heard.
I passed through, but not been to that place. I know the place. The industrial prominence is known to me.
Yeah. The Korba, Korba is.
Yes. Korba, there was a fertilizer plant, and I think I was once there. Which was abandoned later. There is a coal-based fertilizer plant.
And you have to go to Korba via Bilaspur only. You have to divert.
I passed through that area. I think.
Yeah. It's a wonderful area, sir. A wonderful place, Chhattisgarh. You must have visited Jagdalpur and other places.
I think from Cochin there is a Bilaspur Express is there direct.
Yes. Yes, direct express also. And there is a flight from Cochin. It used to be
Chennai. Lot of our friends are there in that area, Chhattisgarh, Raipur, Bilaspur area, Tata Nagar and all.
Yeah. So we will be interacting with Nair Sahab, and I will request all the honorable members and dear students from different academic institutions to kindly interact with Nair Sahab and Saha Sahab during their presentation or after that, whatever suits them. So, but you take the opportunity of their good presentation and interact with them as much as you want. I think they will be ready to respond to your queries.
Certainly.
And Azam, how are you otherwise?
Otherwise, it's okay. Cochin, these days, heavy rains are there. You know, there's a monsoon, heavy rains. So today it is a little bit of rain. Previous days are very heavy rains. You know, this July, August, early is all times of rain and floods.
In fact, Chhattisgarh also there is a lot of rains. Even today it's raining heavily. And last 3-4 days there was so much of rains. I think the normal life is disrupted. So it must be happening in Kerala also. That similar.
Kerala, it's okay. Everything is fine. Only thing is this. Our state, a lot of people come from different parts of the world. So this pandemic is a bit of concern. Every day the government says the test positivity rate is about 10%. You have to bring it down to 5-6, but that's not happening. On account of a lot of people coming and going out and coming this. So that's a major problem for us. We cannot move around.
Yes. It's good. We are again thankful to you, sir, for before welcoming, I am thanking you, but you are always welcome, sir, in all our programs. So it's just a formality, and you are always a guiding factor to us. And we have been, you remember, we interacted about this so many times.
Yes, very much.
And next time we will invite the other.
Mr. Panikar, today, I think today he has a program at our management association. He told me. He told me about your invitation and he has accepted it. But it is nice that we two are not on the same day. You can have him. He's a very veteran in oil and gas.
Okay. No, I know it.
He was the chief of this Kochi BPCL's Kochi refinery. They have recently implemented some 25,000 crore project, very major project, and now he has been working with a major refinery in Gujarat after retirement. Just retired.
Nara, I have visited. I was one of the experts in that disaster petroleum and regulatory. I visited Nara 2-3 times. And I was one of the experts for disaster management there.
Then he may need your support also later.
No. Well, just and Sahasab has joined. Ramakant?
Yes, I have joined. Right.
Okay, Sahasab.
Welcome, sir. Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Welcome,
Sir. Good evening.
And Arsab, if you permit, we can start the
proceedings. Definitely, yes. Okay. Please go ahead, please.
I'm handing over the floor to our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He is a very renowned person in the field of computer engineering. He is a dean in Ravi Shankar University here, and he is a very active member in Chhattisgarh State Center also. So I'm handing over to him. Sanjay Kumarji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. And a warm welcome and good evening to all the esteemed members and guests, students, and all the dignitaries, whosoever is attending, our chief guest, Mr. Nair, and keynote speaker, guest of honor, Dr. S.N. Saha, and everybody. So I'm giving just a warm welcome to everyone whosoever is attending this webinar. Now I invite our chairman, Engineer Anil Kumar Sharma, to give a formal welcome address, and the entire event will be presided over by our chairman, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you, Sanjay Kumarji. Respected chief guest of today's webinar, Dr. M.P. Sukamaran Nair Sahab, FIE. Guest of honor, Dr. Samendranath Saha Sahab, all the respected council and corporate members of IEI from all over India, including Chhattisgarh, students from various academic institutions, Honorable Secretary Dr. Sanjay Kumar, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to you all in this webinar, which is on a very important topic of recent trends in chemical engineering. On this occasion, I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. M.P. Sukumaran Nair Sahab, FIE, a very senior council member heading so many important committees of Institution of Engineers from Kerala. He is a known name in the field of chemical engineering. He is a chemical engineer and corporate manager with extensive technical and management experience in the industry and government for over 4 decades. He has had many important positions in the government of Kerala as an IAS. He was also the Special Secretary to Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala. We have great pleasure in having Dr. Nair as our chief guest. We welcome you, sir, with the core of our heart. Dr. Nair will be talking today on digitization in the oil and gas industry, scope and potential. A very important topic. So, welcome, sir. We have another distinguished speaker, Dr. Samarendra Nath Saha. He's a distinguished chemical engineer presently serving as Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Bilaspur. He has over 38 years of experience in the field, and he will be deliberating on an important topic of fluidized bed technology and its industrial application. I have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Shah in today's webinar. I also take this opportunity once again to welcome you all who have joined today's webinar. Chhattisgarh State Center of Institution of Engineers is working to promote the general advancement of engineering and engineering science and their application to facilitate the exchange of information and ideas on those subjects amongst fellow engineers and others concerned with this. Friends, India has made progress towards its goal of bringing millions of people out of extreme poverty. However, despite these efforts, we still lack the basic of minimum acceptable standard of living. What India needs today now is a productivity and efficiency-led transformations. In this backdrop, there is a need to focus on a set of powerful technologies that can help raise productivity, improve efficiency across major sectors of the economy, and radically alter how services such as education, health, transport, etc. are delivered. In this backdrop, today's webinar, on topic recent trends in chemical engineering, is a befitting topic in today's changing times and competitive world. Chemical engineering plays a very important role in India's economy and an integral part of the fabric of our country. However, the current infrastructure in chemical engineering cannot sustain the expected economic growth of the country. And under these circumstances, the innovative recent trends in chemical technologies provides an opportunity to transform Indian chemical industries in a better manner. It will also help tremendously in Indian economic growth and development of being safe, financially viable, environmental friendly, and caring for everyone. In today's global scenario, manufacturing efficiency and agility is not an option, but it is a strategic requirement. The production cost is increasing rapidly. Hence, to increase the productivity and reduce the production cost, one can have controls on labor costs by reducing manpower, utility costs by power saving, quality improvement through good control on the process, high production costs through state-of-the-art machines, and keeping proper record through systems. All these need newer technology in all emerging disciplines, including chemical engineering. This is possible only by innovative technology through implementing automation. Automation is the use of control systems and information technologies to reduce the need for human work in the production of goods and services, to save money on the production and material costs. Some of the reasons for need of innovative technology is elimination of human error, cleaner technologies, consistency of product minimizing, energy consumption, easily diagnosis of fault, reduction in resources, reduction of peak loads, reduction in effluent environment protection, safety and health, reduce maintenance, reduce manpower, data collection of consolidation, etc. To achieve this, we have to resort to newer trends and follow the recent trends in manufacturing and process control, etc. So, friends, with this background, I'm sure that today's session, focusing on recent trends in chemical engineering, will dwell upon the aspects of productivity, automation, and energy conservation, and will enlighten and guide us in implementing things in a meaningful way. What we must remember that nature has a last say in everything in our life, and only through sustainable development our mankind could survive. So let us all strive for the same to make our future bright. At the end, I would request all participants to kindly interact actively with our honorable speakers to make this event more successful. I once again welcome you all and thank you. Sanjay Kumar.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Very correctly, you have said nature has a last say always. So very nicely you have introduced this subject and theme of today's webinar, that is recent trends in chemical technology. So now moving ahead, I would like to invite Engineer V.K. Kasu to read the biodata of Professor Dr. S.N. Saha. I would like to add one more sentence that Engineer V.K. Kasu is our past chairman and is a very renowned civil engineer. So please, sir, Kasu sir, please introduce Dr. Saha.
Very good evening to all of you, and I am very happy that I got the opportunity to read the biodata of Mr. Saha. So I am very happy, and very good evening to you, sir. Mr. Samrendra Nath Saha is a very prominent and known person in our institution also. So he has had total 38 years experience, 2.5 years in industrial, 1.5 year research, and 34 years very long teaching experience. Dr. Saha worked in BITS Pilani for more than 13 years as lecturer and assistant professor. By Punjab government selection, he worked as professor and HOD of chemical engineering of one Punjab government engineering college for 6.5 years and became the principal of same Punjab government engineering college in the year 2001. Since 4th January 2003, Dr. Saha has been working as the professor of chemical engineering in the present Guru Ghasidas University, Vishwavidyalaya. Dr. Saha has worked as the head of Technical Institute for some more total 8 years, like as principal of Punjab Government Engineering College and as the director of present University Institute of Technology. Also, he has worked as the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Schools of Studies, Engineering and Technology, and present university for 8 years. Dr. Saha has guided 4 lectures, including one mechanical engineering lecture of BITS Pilani for their PhD. Dr. Saha has published 72 research technical papers in various national and international journals, proceedings of national and international seminars. His field of interest are fluidization of engineering, combustion engineering, and industrial pollution control. Dr. Saha was awarded the National Award for his best research paper publication in the year 1992. Dr. Saha has got the credit of publication of his sole authorized 4 textbooks. Dr. Saha has undertaken 15 UGC, AICTE, and government projects worth total rupees 1.15 crore. Dr. Saha has been acting as the expert member since last 14 years of AICTE, Approval Committee, Scrutiny Committee, Appellate Committee, and National Board of Accreditation and AGC, NAAC. We give our all the honor to Dr. Saha, and we are very eager to listen his presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kasu sir, for giving introduction of our today's guest of honor, Professor Dr. S.N. Saha. Dr. S.N. Saha is a very well-known name in the field of chemical engineering in this area, and not only in this area, rather in the country. So we are very eager to hear you, sir. Now I invite Professor Saha to deliver his speech. Saha, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. And particularly Chairman of this Indian Institute of Engineers, India, Chhattisgarh State Center, as well as the Honorary Secretary of this IEI. By the way, on the very outset itself, let me mention that I was quite thick and thin way. I was involved with this Institute of Engineers since 1986, so far I remember. I was the West Bengal State Center. At that time, I was in Kolkata. In West Bengal State Center, I was very active in that Institute of Engineers programs, and being the side, perhaps not, secretary and like that. And when I have started my teaching career in BITS Pilani, so obviously I was involved with this same Institute of Engineers, Jaipur, that is Rajasthan State Center. After that, please.
Just for your information,
please.
I just want to inform you that our chief guest Nair Sahib is also there.
Okay.
So Nair Sahib is a very distinguished chemical engineer. So
Okay.
I just wanted to Ramakant ji, Nair Sahib ko लाइए ना इसमें. Hello. Please go ahead. Just this is just for your information.
Okay.
That our chief guest is also there.
Okay. In fact, since just after a pretty long time of span after BITS Pilani, I have lost that connection with the Institute of Engineers. Although I was a paper sitter, examiner, and that project guide also, that is some sort of project used to be done by the AMI students also. That way I was just not missing regular till last very recent past also. I was the paper sitter of that AMI Section B examinations. But this type of activity of this Institute of Engineers I have lost because I was badly preoccupied with the administrative work for this university, being the director. By the way, without any hesitation, rather Dr. Sanjay Kumar, he will appreciate my introduction on him. Rather, he has worked with me when I was the director and the dean of this. Perhaps, yes, he has worked with me to some extent, some not very long time. So after that, he switched over. So Dr. Sanjay Kumar, he knows me this way also. And since before this incumbent as that professor of this university, that is your Pandit Ravi Shankar University, before that, he was there in my university itself, in my Institute of Technology. So that way, I just now can have the reminiscence. He is so potential, Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He is really potential in not. I'm just trying to, just means that is somewhat sad. Just pleasing the other dignitaries or particularly the chairman, chairman and past chairman. But he is very active and he is very honest in terms of his profession, dedication towards his profession. So that way, anyway, that is very different aspect. So I have just got that opportunity to deliver the lecture on this fluidized technologies, industrial applications. As some of my predecessor in his lecture, rather introduction wise, he was speaking out on that, that is energy conservation sort of that. I just immediately sparked by my mind that a bit that relevance is there over my present topic, which I'll be just going to deliver next 1 hour plus time. I think Dr. Sanjay Kumar ji, Professor Sanjay Kumar, I think I can have some 1 hour time, no? 1 hour time more or less.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Is that all right? No? It will not be too much.
I think can you
yes.
Can you make it squeeze it a little bit?
Okay, no problem, absolutely because, no problem, because I should take into account that the participants, they should not feel boring. I mean that topic that also I can also listen, I can learn something.
Nair, are you there, sir? Nair sir?
Nair sir, please unmute your mic.
Yes.
Sir, is it all right for you?
Yeah, absolutely no problem. Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'll try to finish my lecture just even much. Earlier than 1 hour.
Means I was just. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I think Kumar Sahab, I have to share some screen.
Yes, sir. Please.
I'll just. I think it may take a bit little time. So let me try.
No problem.
Share some screen.
Yes, please start.
And
is it option there?
I'm not getting. I have to firstly, Professor Kumar, I have to click that share screen, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Press on share.
Then I have to press share.
Just
fine.
press on
Yes,
share.
sir.
Yes. Now
it has come.
No, but
it is visible here, sir. Yes.
But I have got my that presentation, PPT presentation is there.
Yes.
PPT.
You may go in your respective folder where you have stored.
Yes. That I'll have to. I hope you'll be bearing with me. And
yes,
just
sir.
sometimes because
yes,
I'm quite
Take your time, sir.
familiar with that Google Meet way, because nowadays it is just the time of new.
No, your screen is very much shared now. No problem.
Okay.
But the only thing is you have to retrieve that file.
I have to recoup my file, so I have to. Okay, 1 second. Just stop. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I think it is
yes,
visible to everybody.
It is visible.
Okay. That's nice.
Yes,
Make it full screen by pressing F5.
Okay,
F5.
F5, no?
Yes.
Yes, it has come.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, although
Thank you.
this is I have just now, it was readily with me, since I have just now given in the recent past, I have just delivered the lecture on refresher course of my University Institute of Technology, that is UGC HRDC, that center in my university itself. So I thought, now why not just now the same that slides be shared with the help of, for the sake of just now delivering this lecture. Although it is written that research on fluidization engineering applications, so before just going into a bit depth of this area, so let me, because now the students also may be there, those who have not got the expertise over this fluidization. So that let me start with this way. Very fundamentally, let me start my best to make you understand the fundamentals of fluidization engineering. And then step by step, I'll be just going into a bit depth, and then I'll be culminating with somewhat the research area. And if time permits, then I'll be just now coming across over video also. So I think it will be sufficient for making it making my presentation, maximum by 1 hour time. Well, fluidization is nothing but that unit operation. Well, this is one unit operation. Chemical engineering has got various unit operations. Unit operations in our chemical engineering discipline. So many unit operations are there. Out of that, fluidization is also one of the unit operations by means of which fine solids are transformed into fluid-like state by flowing some fluid with contact with the fluid, means now some solid particles or some, of course, some solid particles may be there. So there are some advantages of the fluidized bed, that fluidization technique. There are various advantages. Out of that various advantages, I'll just make a mention. Just before that, what are the advantages? In general, advantages is that, say, this is more efficient compared to the conventional ones. And if I just confine over particularly the fluidized bed combustion, that fluidized bed combustion this is nothing but the application. This can be applied in fluidized bed boiler. That fluidized bed boiler means atmospheric fluidized bed boiler or pressurized fluidized bed boiler. That is the next generation boiler, that is pressurized fluidized bed boiler. At least is basically this fluidized bed combustion. This was let me get this opportunity to make a mention. When I have done my master's thesis from Jadavpur University in the year of 1980, that time I had done my master's thesis, MTech thesis, ME thesis, MCHE, that is Master of Chemical Engineering. That was the degree used to be offered by Jadavpur University, Kolkata. So that time I had done that fluidized bed combustion of LPG and coal separately. Fluidized bed coal combustion, I have got various advantageous points like better heat transfer coefficient compared to the fixed bed boiler, fixed bed combustion, or the pulverized fuel combustion. And because of the better heat transfer coefficient, so obviously whatever the tubes required, steam tubes required for the boiler, so that will be the lower number of steam tubes will be required for getting the same top steam temperature or the same capacity of the steam. That is steam generation, which is there. That is the basic objective of the fluidized bed, any boiler. And that starting from the saturated steam, then desuperheated steam, then superheated steam, then that superheated steam is passed through the turbine or the generator, generating the electricity. That is nothing but the very, very fundamental concept of that coefficient is there available in fluidized bed combustor. So that can be exploited. That can be, that can be used as an advantageous point to get, so since it's the better heat transfer coefficient. So obviously the steam tubes, that is, what is the boiler? Boiler is nothing but the four-walled walls are composed by various tubes and through which the water will be passing. And that out of that heat transfer from the combustion zone to, that water which is passing through, which passes through that steam tubes. So out of that, that UA delta T, Q, that is heat flux, Q by A, particularly chemical engineers or the mechanical engineers, they will be just now quite familiar with this. I'm not giving that detail of that Q, heat flux, Q by A. Since U, that is overall heat transfer coefficient, is higher in case of the fluidized bed combustor. So obviously that it will be less number of tubes will be required, that is heat transfer surface area. It will be less amount, it will be required to get the same top steam temperature or the same capacity of the boiler in case of the fluidized bed boiler. Another advantageous point is that in the fluidized bed boiler or the fluidized bed combustor, that is, since the bed temperature is 750 to 850 degrees Celsius, this is maintained. And whereas the temperature, bed temperature, which is there prevailing in case of the fixed bed boiler or the conventional stoker fired boiler or even fluidized, that is pulverized fuel boiler, that is more than 1000, 1100, 1200 degrees Celsius. So whereas in fluidized bed boiler, it is only 750 to 850 degrees Celsius is maintained. And because of this lower bed temperature, so that the corrosion or erosion of the bed tubes will be less. And if the corrosion or the erosion of the bed tubes will be less, so obviously that replacement cost of those tubes, that is because of the corrosion, there is every chance, and not every chance, that will have to the industrialists, I mean that is operators or the boiler operators or the boiler persons, that is personnel, engineers, maintenance people, they have to very frequently, they have to face that nuisance to get that replacement of those tubes, which will be getting leakage will be there through the tubes because of the corrosion or the erosion. But that corrosion and erosion in the fluidized bed combustor or the fluidized bed boiler is not so frequent. It is just reason behind this, that bed temperature is only 750 degrees to 850, maximum 900 degrees Celsius. And so because of that lower bed temperature, the pollution control that can be very efficiently can be done in case of the fluidized bed boiler. Because of the fact, as we all know, that in fluidized any boiler, obviously desulfurization, that is desulfurization of the coal, because well, in fact, one PhD, that is mechanical engineering, and so that time also that was extended, that fluidized bed boiler in thermal power plant. So this, what I'm saying, this that is sulfur content, retention of the sulfur is more efficient in case of the fluidized bed boiler, because of the fact CaO, calcium oxide, it is fed. In normal conventional boilers, fixed bed boiler or pulverized fuel boiler, so sulfur has to coal sulfur content is there. In order to retain that sulfur, that is desulfurization, CaO is added in the boiler, calcium oxide, or in terms of that limestone. That is reaction, that is CaO plus SO2, sulfur plus oxygen, this sulfur dioxide, if it is allowed to be emitted in the atmosphere, that will be creating havoc, pollution, that is air pollution. So that cannot be, that cannot be allowed to be emitted in the atmosphere, creating havoc, pollution, air pollution. Instead of allowing this sulfur dioxide emission, so this has to be retained in the boiler itself. So sulfur, that is the reason calcium oxide is fed into the boiler. CaO plus SO2, this gives CaSO4, that is calcium sulfate. That calcium sulfate, from the bottom of that boiler is taken out. Calcium concept of any boiler, it is done. And now this reaction CaO plus SO2 to CaSO4, this becomes reversible reaction, that is forward reaction. Immediately after getting that CaSO4, this goes back to sulfur dioxide. That is reversible reaction takes place in case of—
Your screen is not shared. Screen is not shared.
Oh, okay. Should I strike out? I think I have to.
Please press once again
Please.
share button.
Should I
Share button.
share? No? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Okay. So I have to just resume there to end, starting from that.
No, from this point only you can go onward. Please press share.
Okay. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, now it has come.
Now it has come. Okay, okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
It has come.
And next slide, how to get it? Next slide.
Sir, just click on the slides.
Okay. Now this, what I was telling, in fact, that is how to get the advantageous point of the fluidized bed technology in actually in application, that is in fluidized bed combustion, that is in fluidized bed boiler. So CAO, that is pollution point of view, also it is more advantageous. This is because CaO plus SO2, this gives CaSO for calcium sulfate. That is the basic objective of, that is the desulfurization of any technique of, that is fixed bed boiler or the pulverized fuel boiler. But this reaction is a reversible reaction because of the higher temperature, that is more than 1200 degrees Celsius. It is prevailing in case of the normal conventional boilers, that is fixed bed boiler or the pulverized fuel boiler. But whereas in fluidized bed combustor, since the lower bed temperature is maintained, that is 750 to 850 degrees Celsius, so this becomes the irreversible reaction, not reversible one. So irreversible reaction means CaO plus SO2 to CaSO4. This is irreversible. So that particular advantageous point is quite usefully exploited in case of the fluidized bed technique for pollution point of view. So this is more, this is advantageous point. Some of the disadvantageous points are there, like that is whenever, suppose by any chance, if the bed happens to get somewhat a hot spot in some pocket, more than some 900 degrees, 1000 degrees Celsius, making the ash fusion point, it reaches the ash fusion point. Because of the coal, obviously, ash fusion point will be reaching. By any chance, if it reaches, so what will happen in the fluidized bed combustor or the fluidized bed boiler? That is the whole mass will be getting defluidized. It will be the whole mass will be clinker formation. There will be some clinker, and the whole bed will be fluidized. Means whole mass will be chunk. That is clinker will be formed, and the whole bed or the whole column or the whole system will be getting jumbled, or that mass of that. So obviously it is not possible to fluidize. It's instead of particles, this becomes a huge mass. So that is one disadvantageous point is there. And the ash fusion point, by any chance it happens in this because of some hotspot. So that is very difficult to operate. And otherwise, in fact, these advantageous points are exploited in case of the USA country, like European countries or the developed countries, where the very good quality coal is available in mass scale. Whereas in our country, our coal availability is abundance is there in coal mines, but the quality of the coal is not so good, and the ash content is very high in our coal, and the degraded coal is available in our country. And now the country like USA or European countries or developed countries, they have been utilizing, they have been exploiting this fluidized bed technique for making this thermal power plant, even using the fluidized bed boiler, atmospheric fluidized bed boiler, or even, to the extent of pressurized fluidized bed boiler. It is even more advantageous compared to the atmospheric fluidized bed boiler. Keeping in view, they used to think for zero pollution. They think for the zero pollution. So absolutely they don't compromise even to that extent of some in our country, because obviously Pollution Abatement Act itself is being violated, very truly speaking, honestly speaking. because that is at the cost of economy. That is at the cost of economy. So that may not be possible for the industrialist or that particular industry concerned to follow so stringent way that act. So, but in the developed countries, they have been just not thinking for zero pollution. That's the reason. So although instead, in spite of the fact they have got very good quality coal, but still they have been using this fluidized bed boiler in their thermal power plant. Here, this is the fixed bed. First column is a fixed bed. Now, if you use just a gas or liquid, you increase the velocity. That just the fluidization starts. It's called the minimum fluidization. That is LMF. That is length of the minimum fluidization. And if you still increase the velocity, that comes to smooth fluidization, then comes to bubbling fluidization, and then slugging. This figure, that is concept of that slugging, there will be very big cavities will be there, bubbles will be there, then slugging, then turbulent fluidization, means that is lean phase. That then comes to lean phase fluidization with that is pneumatic transport. So that is all the particles will be that is elutriated, entrained. So this that is called lean phase. Okay. Now, in fact, there is some liquid-like behavior of fluid. Whatever the that liquid or that fluid has got that characteristic or the behavior, the same behavior is shown by or exhibited by the fluidized bed any system. Like, for example, light object is floats over the fluidized bed. If the column, fluidized bed column, if it is tilted, so they will be just getting some level, horizontal level. Level is to be equalized when two columns will be there. This is together, this is combined. So that is whatever the liquid has got the characteristic or the behavior, the same liquid-like behavior of a fluid, this will be exhibited by the fluidized bed. Just a liquid-like behavior allows various conducting schemes to be devised. There are some conducting schemes. Say this is first exhibit, solids is dipped into from the bottom, gas is inside, and that gas, that is, this is getting, just disadvantageous points. Of course, I have confined over that is fluidized bed combustion, but in general, these are the advantages and disadvantages of the, in general, any industrial, fluidized bed technique, fluidized bed operation. Okay, and so that was difficult to describe flow characteristics. Times, and friable solids are pulverized and erosion of pipes of vessels to some extent. So I'm just skipping very fast because the parties depends on the participants. Those who are just not doing the research work on this, they may be very interest, not otherwise. Others, those who are not having this field of interest, they may not be just getting so much of, they may be getting boring. That's the reason very fast I'm skipping. These are the applications of industrial applications of fluidized bed, that is coal gasification, gasoline from other petroleum fractions, petroleum cracking, fluidized bed cracking, catalytic cracking. So this catalytic cracking, this is, that is cracking and this, okay.
Sir, please share your screen, sir.
Sir, please.
Again, yes. So these are the adsorption also, coating, that also with the help of the fluidized technique. Transportation, the cement, clinker formation, that is cement industry. There also, in combustion, fluidized combustion nowadays, even this fluidized combustion of rice husk, sawdust, fluidized incineration of that municipal solid waste. This can be incinerated with the help of that fluidized incinerated. By the way, let me mention that one assistant professor of my own department of this university, Central University, he is doing PhD. She is doing PhD under the same area of fluidized incineration of municipal solid waste. So that incineration, that will be not only pollution will be checked, because instead of dumping the municipal solid waste over one particular any dumping over the land, so creating that pollution, and instead of that, just let these municipal solid waste be collected together, and this can be incinerated with the help of the fluidized technique, and that will be creating some power also. Just now, say gasification, activation of carbon, gasification, coal and coke, incineration, fluidized combustion of coal, all these things I have already mentioned, right? And say particularly fluidized gas combustor or gasifier, these are the main just attracting examples, applications areas in our country. That's the reason I'm just confining more and more over this fluidized combustor or the gasifier. Mechanism of fluidized combustion. So there is a bed, air fixed bed, then next column is bubbling, air turbulent, air circulating. Means circulating fluidized boiler. So one is fluidized atmospheric fluidized boiler, then atmospheric, that fast fluidized combustion system, circulating fluidized combustion system, CFBC, then pressurized fluidized combustion system. I think in our country, that is BHEL, they have been doing, I don't know, I'm not fully aware what they are just now. Pressurized fluidized combustion system, perhaps in our country, or the BHEL also has not yet been able to, I don't know if I'm not wrong, perhaps they have also not been doing. That is maximum at the extent of atmospheric fluidized boiler, or that is circulating fluidized boiler. Here, that this is the figure where exactly one can have the visualization, means now that is, that how coal is burned in a fluidized boiler, atmospheric fluidized coal system, that is fluidized boiler. This is one chamber I have shown, that is 807, although I have mentioned 750 to 850 degrees Celsius, it may be just not more than 850 degrees Celsius. Unit size, say 25 MWE. And thermal efficiency here, it's mentioned 30%. And okay, some of the research areas, bed temperature, heat transfer coefficient, this is my own research or my PhD students research wise. Just I thought this may be relevant for some people who may be having some more and more interest on this technique, that is fluidized combustion. Heat transfer coefficient, how it is affected, means it is varying with the bed temperature. As bed temperature is increasing, the heat transfer coefficient is increasing linearly. And this is the effect of particle size. The particle size, if the particle sizes will be more and more, so obviously average coal size, if it is increasing more and more, so obviously the heat transfer coefficient will be less and less. The trend has been shown. The next figure, that is fluidizing velocity. If the velocity will be increasing, obviously heat transfer coefficient will be increasing to some extent up to some critical limit. After that, it will be falling down. Heat transfer coefficient will be falling down. As you understand, fundamentally, obviously, as the fluidizing velocity will be increasing more and more, so the elytration will be coming, means entrainment will take place. The particles will be carried over. Particles will be taken out from the system or that combustor system. So as a result of which, obviously, the heat transfer coefficient, it will be a lean bed. So instead of dense bed, it will be lean bed, turbulent fluidization. So that obviously reaching to the critical limit, critical point of the heat transfer coefficient, then it will be falling down. So next, some of the mathematical modeling and simulation of bed sulfur retention, fluidized bed retention, fluidized bed retention also. Some of the research data I have shared here, how it will be changing desulfurization efficiency with respect to U by UMF. That is, U is the fluidization velocity and UMF is minimum fluidization velocity, that ratio. And similarly, the sulfur retention calcium oxide Ca by S ratio, how it is varying with the desulfurization efficiency. This has been shown, this figure. And next, also the same type of some research data I have shared, desulfurization efficiency with Ca by S ratio. And then same way, fluidized bed, that is CaO conversion, that is fluidized bed combustion percentage with that exposed time, how it is varying. So this is another reaction rate versus fractional conversion CaO, and then fluidized bed incinerator also. This is very hot area nowadays. And just now, by the way, I have just now clicked my mind that fluidized bed extraction of edible oil, that is leaching, or that extraction, liquid extraction of say edible oil, to get that edible oil starting from that oil seed, vegetable oil seed. So we all know that just now simple normal conventional extraction process is used, that is normal solvent extraction process is used. But what my thought that why not that why solvent extraction should be used instead of that normal conventional solvent extraction process? Why not let us use that fluidized bed technique? To be very frank, I have just now got one UGC major research project grant also from UGC. So that experimental setup, I have got it fabricated, and that some of the runs had been taken in my own department of university. So that is extraction, fluidized bed extraction of edible oil for getting edible oil. So this is incineration. This is also some of the, some data. And once again, let me skip that fluidized bed dryer. This dryer also, that basically how drying rate changes with the moisture content of that sample, which has to be dried. So drying rate versus moisture, these are the various figures. The research data only have shared, drying rate versus moisture content, and rate versus time, with the time, how it is changing. And then humidity versus rate versus humidity. And catalytic reactor, that is fluidized bed catalytic reactor of the petrochemical complex. These are very, very important, and just nowadays in any petroleum refinery for petroleum cracking, that is with the help of the fluidized bed technique only it comes. And after deactivation of that catalyst, this also regeneration of that catalyst also used, it is done with the, using that fluidized bed technique. Here also, that out of that catalytic cracking, some of the data, research data has been shared here. Okay, and this is again time versus how the rate. So this is nitrate pollution control using the fluidized bed reactor, bioreactor, nitrate pollution. In fact, just in the water, so we are denitrification, it is essential, denitrification. That denitrification can be used using the fluidized bed reactor, bioreactor. So here, by the way, let me just now, it came to my mind, just let me share with you. So this was when I had said, that was this paper I have shared, that was in Canada. This was, in the proceeding it had come. So bioreaction, but we using the fluidized bed bioreactor, denitrification, fluidized bed extraction of vegetable, as I mentioned, this also I have just now got one research project from that UGC. So these are the some of the that result, experimental result. And these two books, in fact, my own authored 2 textbooks, that is Fuel Combustion Energy Technology and Elements of Fuel Combustion Energy Engineering. In fact, these 2 books are prescribed textbooks in my university. I myself used to teach in BTech level and MTech level using my own authored book. And I think I thought now I'll be just showing some video. I think it is already more than 1 hour. I think I should not extend this. It may rather it may create the pain to the participants. I think let me wind up here. And because if I use some video, it will take some more time. That again, I'm saying it may create some painful patience, perseverance of the participants. I think let me wind up this way. Thank you very much. Any questions are there, particularly from the student side, those who have been attending, participants? It will be quite pleasure, and I love to answer. Reply or just to make you convinced, to make you more and more happy or more and more understand over this area. Otherwise, you can just some particular, I'm talking about the students, those who are interested to get this area clear, BTech level or MTech level, they are just quite free. And always, I'm a teacher for last more than 38 years. I have been teaching in university level, starting from BITS Pilani, then Punjab Technical University, then here in this university, Guru Ghasidas, it was earlier State University. In the year of 2009, it has been upgraded to Central University. Dr. Kumar, Professor Kumar, he left before it got upgraded to Central University. So I joined here in 2003. Last 18 years, I have just now been spending in this university. So what I'm saying, the students are quite, they can just now share their questions to me. My mail ID is there. I can just, some particular interested participant, they can just note down my mail ID, snsaha1957@gmail.com. Let me repeat, snsaha1957. That is my year of birth, certificate age, that is year of birth is 1957@gmail.com. So quite jolly well, I'll be sharing your questions if it is not permitted to that extent to pose and to make you satisfied, make you more understand in this during this short period of time of this lecture. Thank you.
Yeah, I have posted one question.
Please, sir.
Allow me.
Please, sir.
Yeah, my name is A.K. Arora. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, my name is A.K. Arora. I'm a retired person from Indian Oil, and I have been doing job in FCC units in some of the refineries. So my
sir, can I get this indulgence? Because sir, you are from IOCL, you yourself have done work in the FCC. So I think if you put some questions, I may be simply surrendering it, maybe out of my competence. You know that I tell you, sir. Let me share with you in a very, jolly way. My son is working in.
Let me share my experience.
So
share my
very much expert in that because you have
also.
worked in IOCL, FCC. So theoretical knowledge slightly I can just tell, but you know much more than me because now, sir, let me be again just allowed. Actually, my son, he himself is working as a manager presently. He was a topper or the gold medalist of NIT Rourkela. He is now manager of BPCL, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. In fact, some of the PhD candidate of my department, he was thinking to do that PhD over that area. I thought I'll be getting some sort of help from my son because he is working in BPCL. So later on, I thought, no, it is better not to, because it's such a vast experience. Please, sir. Now, your question, if I can be able to answer, satisfy you, definitely I'll be my happiness.
So my question is that in the refineries, in FCC plants, the choking of the slide wall, there is a slide wall in the reactor regenerator transfer line, है ना? So that gets choked very frequently, and because of that, we have to take pre-planned or unplanned shutdowns many times.
Right.
So I just wanted to know whether you have any experience in this field or just
No, sir. No, sir.
since you are from FCC technology.
No, I understand, sir.
So,
I don't have that practical experience. Fluidized catalytic cracking. I have done some, just experimental work at my level. That is in the year of 1980 onwards. I have been working. That is fluidized bed coal combustion, fluidized bed boiler way. So, but fluidized bed catalytic cracking, I know that this application is there, as I told you earlier, also in BPCL or any Indian oil. So they are the pioneers. So this is there, but that practical knowledge I don't have. I don't have that practical knowledge, so that I'll be able to have, make you have more happier. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want to ask a question.
Please, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, this
Mr. Sharma.
sponge iron, they are passing coal also. Actually, that is very inefficient. Is it possible that iron ore pellets can be put in fluidized bed boiler so that they can take away the oxygen, and coal will take the oxygen and burn it? Is it possible, sir?
I think, sir, it's a very good idea. This can be at least attempted. This can be thought in very serious note. It can be done. So far, fluidized bed technique knowledge is there with me. And Kunil Evanspile, this is the mother of that fluidization engineering. Some 35 years back, he has authored that book. So still the same book I have been following in terms of teaching in master's level or PhD level also, fluidized bed technique. I think it is there, that is feasible, that is possible, sir. And some experimental work is necessary to be done. But I think it's a very good proposition, and it has clicked your mind, sir. I think very seriously you can think in that direction. That will be definitely possible. That will be possible, I think. Yes, sir.
I will request all the participants, please. We will take all the questions towards the end. Our chief guest, honorable chief guest, is waiting. Please allow me to invite him.
So
Sanjay Kumar,
please send to me just in my mail. So I'll be just now clarifying all those.
Shah Sahab, you are there, na? Shah Sahab, you are there.
Yes,
na?
I'm here. Okay. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir, for a very, very illustrative presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Our chief guest is waiting. I think we'll hear him first, and then we'll take all the questions.
Sure, sir.
Thank you. Sanjay Kumar.
This lecture is further beautified by very interactive questions asked by very, very senior fellows. And definitely a new dimension has been added to this webinar by question answer session. And thank you very much, Shah sir, for giving very enlightening speech. You told coal is not of good quality in our country, but scientists, engineers like you and different engineers in this country, definitely we are going to resolve this problem. And you show through various graphs that what is the effect of various parameters on heat transfer coefficient. So very informative lecture really you have given here, and you have spared your very valuable time. So please stay with us, and once again we thank you on behalf of this center. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, moving ahead, before I invite our chief guest, I request our respected member, Raghuveer Natarajan Saab. He is a very enthusiastic and very energetic member of this center, and he is working here in Doordarshan. So, Raghuveer Natarajan Saab, please introduce our chief guest.
Is he there? Natarajan sir. Natarajan sir. Is he connected? Ramakant. Ramakant.
He is not connected, sir. Sir, he is not connected with the proper name. Maybe
he has some problem also.
Sharma sir, please you introduce. I request you to introduce.
नहीं आपके पास है ना, please.
नहीं सर, मैं उन्हीं को देख के रखा था पूरा रिस्पांसिबिलिटी.
कहाँ है नटराजन?
आप थोड़ा बता दीजिए सर.
एक मिनट मैं देखता हूँ, एक मिनट को खोलने फिर उसको.
रमाकांत तुम्हारे पास है क्या प्रिंट?
नहीं मैं करता हूँ, एक मिनट. अरे मेरे को बताते पहले. रमाकांत आपके पास है तो आई एम वेरी सॉरी, प्लीज
जस्ट
एक मिनट बस. हाँ आपके पास है?
मैं चेक करता हूँ.
हाँ नहीं कहाँ गया? एक मिनट, वो तो आ गया.
हाँ मैं चेक करता हूँ.
sir, I have just shared in the CG group.
अच्छा, executive ना? Yeah.
CG executive body.
Please bear with us, sir. We are very sorry.
I think we can avoid that. Absolutely no problem.
No. We have to.
That's not required. You know, that's not required for the subject matter. Eh? Okay?
No. Just a minute, sir. Just a minute, sir. We are very sorry for this, lab, sir.
मैं उनको फोन करता हूँ एक बार सर.
हाँ.
वो आ जाए.
नहीं ठीक है. I will now introduce our honorable chief guest of today's function, Dr. MP Sukumaran Nair, FIE. He is a general in the recent assignment. He has sent us a biodata. I'm just reading that. He is a chemical engineer and corporate manager with extensive technical and management experience in the industry and government for over 4 decades. Currently, director Center for Green Technology and Management, Cochin, and president of the Trikakara Municipal Cooperative Hospital Society, Cochin, Kerala. He was a former chairman, Public Sector Restructuring and Audit Board, and overseeing the working of public sector industries, Government of Kerala. Kerala Mineral and Metals Limited, and chairman and managing director of Travancore Titanium Products Limited. He has a very vast experience in different fields of in the government and also in the chemical industry. He has held many important positions in the government also. He is an IAS, as you know. He is formerly Special Secretary to Chief Minister, Government of Kerala, looking after development projects and program implementation. Managing Director of Chloral Alkali Major Corporate Travancore Cochin Chemical Limited, Cochin, and Chief of Production and Corporate Planning of Fertilizers and Chemicals, Travancore, popularly known as FACT. And FACT Engineering and Design Organization, FEDO Limited. Director, he was also Director Kerala Financial Corporation and Kerala Institute for Labor and Administration. I'm reading from my mobile, so I'm finding it difficult to read. Nair, please excuse me.
No, it's okay. It's not required. Leave it, please.
No, but we have to introduce you, sir, because of your so many things in your biodata. So we have to introduce to our audience also, sir. You are so experienced and so knowledgeable person. So we have to introduce. Your education, he is BS degree in chemistry and MIE chemical engineering, postgraduate degree in ecology and environment, MBA and PhD in environmental management, and his specialization is on state level policy planning for industrial development, corporate management of major industrial units, project economics, development of DPRs and economic feasibility studies, energy, water, environment management, pilot plant scale up, facilities planning for major for industrial units, engineering design, and turnaround strategy for industrial units, process plant environment, health and management, safety management studies, and technology selection, development and technical services to chemical processing units. He has a vast experience and he has specialized in so many sectors of engineering. Faculty, he is a faculty to various industry, fora and academic institutions on corporate management, technology development, review and selection, oil and gas, digitization and industry 4.0, environment, safety and risk management. He is associated with so many professional bodies. He is actively involved in the institution of engineers, as I have already told, at the national level for 4 decades. As council member, he is a very senior member of an institution of engineers, and he has formulated so many policies for the institution of engineers for last 4 decades. Chairman of various fora and senior level committees of institution, member IEI draft committee on engineers bill, and chairman IEI expert committee on Western Ghats ecology reports. Also associated with various professional bodies, industry associations, scientific societies, and serves on several expert advisory committees to the central and state governments of India. He has vast experience in industry. In international studies, he has a lot of bearing. He has been awarded with Cisco Sustainability Leadership Award 2015, Outstanding Chemical Engineer Award of IE Chemical Engineering 2008, Distinguished Alumnus of the Institution of Engineers 2010, and listed in the Marcus Who is Who in the World. His speaking assignment is views. There are so many topics he has given. So I will not read all of those because of the paucity of time. But with the introduction of his work, you must have seen that he has vast experience in various fields of not only academic but in the professional and the government arena. So he has also a lot of publications. He has 120 papers and articles to international journals such as Hydrocarbon Processing, Houston, US, Fertilizer International, CPU, London. And
please leave it, sir. Please leave it. Don't worry about it, please.
And Nair Sahab, I'm extremely sorry if there is any lapse in my introduction, because I was not prepared for that. Because our honorable member was to present your
no problem. Let us start.
So,
we should not spend time. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind gesture. Sanjay Kumar ji, please invite.
Thank you, Sharma sir, for introducing our today's chief guest of webinar, Dr. M.P. Sukumaran Nair, FIE. We are indeed privileged to have you with us, sir. So now I hand over the session to our chief guest, Dr. M.P. Sukumaran Nair, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanjay Kumar ji, Anil Sharma ji, long-time friend, and all my friends, co-speaker, Mrs. Saha, and other dignitaries of the Chhattisgarh State Center. And I am indeed privileged to be in your company. I have been hearing Mr. Saha, and I am reminded of the old times when we all started learning these fundamental concepts of chemical engineering. It was a very nice reminiscence of the past. Anyway, without much spoiling much time, we will just go to presentation. Mr. Anil has asked me to talk to you on an important subjects, that is the oil and gas industry, something very, very, very important in the oil and gas industry. That was his. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
it is
so,
visible, sir.
Mr. Anilji has asked me to talk to you on some important topics of current interest in the industry. So, and I suggested him, shall I speak to the latest trends in the oil and gas industry? He very much said yes. And that is why I have chosen this topic, that is the digitization, which is the talk of the town nowadays in the oil and gas industry, if you talk everywhere. And what is the potential and scope of that kind of a process, that is a new kind of tools that is coming into the oil and gas industry. So here, I'll just give an overview of the global oil and gas industry. Just to introduce, I think some of the students are there, particularly for their interest. I have just put like this. The size of the industry, its sectors, and then we will proceed to the current challenges, and thereafter we will see how digitization is going to command the new positions and help the industry to tide over the current crisis. So we will have the brief introduction. That is, the COVID-19 pandemic has put all of us into trouble, and especially the oil and gas industry is the worst affected. You know, the best running oil companies are also in severe strains. They want survival is very difficult for them. We once were talking that once you are in the oil and gas industry, everything is safe for you. But today the situation has changed. What is the kind of expectation in our minds regarding the status of the oil and gas industry? It is not going to last more than 20-30 years. After 20-30 years, you know, the current of engagement of the industrial activities in the oil and gas sector is going to change. You will have new generation fuels, you will have new generation vehicles, you will have new generation process technologies, all currently on a large scale depending upon petroleum-based fuels, will no more be depending on fossil fuels or petroleum-derived fuels. It is the context that is very, very important. You know, if you look at the world energy consumption, last is 2020. This is the data I've taken from the BP Statistical Review of World Energy, which is a very, very, very reliable source of information. And they say that 583.9 exajoules. Exajoules is 1 to 10 power 18 joules, or 23.88 million tons of oil equivalent. That is the quantity of oil being consumed all over the world. And the trend, what's the trend? The trend you can see, the bottom is the oil. Oil is almost flat, but there is some gradient is there. There is still people consuming oil in the developing countries, especially India and China. If you look at the Europe, it has become almost stagnant. So the oil segment is not growing as it was growing in the past so many decades. You look at the red one, that's natural gas. Natural gas is picking up. The whole of the world is currently shifting to natural gas. We are going to have a gas-based economy. And our own Prime Minister also said that by 2030, we will also shift to a gas-based economy. That means the current Indian consumption of natural gas is 6% of the total primary energy. He would like to take it to 15% by the year 2030. So gradually, we all will be shifting to natural gas as our major primary energy consumption fuel for the purpose of our household cooking, for running our automobiles, for making fertilizer, for generating power, and for even powering our small machines like generators, etc. In our small-scale industries and things like that. Then look at coal. Coal is also growing, especially in the developing countries like India and China. We have a lot of coal, and coal is still one of our major energy resources. Nuclear energy is also slightly blunt. It's not that growing. It is because of the current of environmental issues attached to it. It is not going. It's not growing to that extent it was. Hydel also is linked to a lot of environmental issues, and the sources are limited. and there is no major growth prospects for that area. But at the same time, we will look at renewables. You see, the renewables from around, say, from 94 to, if you look at to 2020, there's a considerable improvement in the consumption of renewable energy, which means that the future, we will have a major stake in oil and gas, renewable energy, be it solar, wind, ocean thermal, or any other source of that, biomass or anything like that. This is a share of primary energy consumption. So you can see the picture is more clear here. See, the oil is coming down, natural gas is going up, then coal is also coming down globally, then natural gas is going up, then hydel, all those things are converging, but the bottom line, that is renewables, is slightly going up. If you look at the India energy situation, this is the total picture of the India energy situation in 2020. What are the resources of oil, coal, etc.? What's the natural gas you produce, and biofuels and renewable power? More, for want of time, I will skip it more. This is the primary energy consumption in India, even this in exajoules again. That means our total of 34.06 exajoules. It's an annual consumption in 2020, which comes to around almost 6% of the total global energy consumption. This is the oil trade movement from Gulf area. Oil comes to us, and some other areas, the Eastern Europe, oil is being traded. So also in the Canadian plain and this Latin American, this is oil trade, and this also the gas trade. Gas is finding mostly in the Qatar area, that's the Middle East. Then the Russian gas is coming, some gases from Nigeria, and some parts of Brazil and so on, and some Canadian gas. All those things are traded, and we are a major importer. Around 60% of our natural gas we use in our country, we are importing. We are only around 40% we are producing in our Krishna Godavari fields, as well as in our Bombay High. So the oil, if you look at the oil and gas sector, again, this is intended for the students. You know, we have mainly the oil and gas sector is divided into three. That is upstream, midstream, and the downstream. Upstream means the crude oil, natural gas, and coal bed methane. They are the resources. Then upstream is exploration, drilling. Midstream is treatment, transport, and storage. Downstream is again refining petrochemicals and fertilizers and things like that. This is a general classification of the sector. And this is the layout of the some kind of a graphical representation of the upstream oil and gas facilities. This is a midstream. You have all this here. The drills are there. The oil drilling wells are there. They are connected, and the gathering pipelines take the oil from the underneath of the earth and for treatment and purification. This is storage, purification of the gas and oil for fit for the refinery and as well as for the market. This is what is being done in the midstream, and the downstream, oil and gas are processed to derive products of mass consumption, fuels like petrol, diesel, and things like that, fertilizers, petrochemicals, and things like that. This is how the whole of the oil and gas industry is laid out. In the refining, you know, the oil refineries, everybody is quite familiar with this slide. That is, the crude oil is transformed into various refinery downstreams. That is the gases, LPG, gasoline, naphtha, kerosene, and things like that. This is how the whole industry is laid out. This is in general a single slide showing all those things for our general understanding. Coming to the challenges. This is a primer for the oil and gas industry, and let us see what are the challenges. The challenges of 21 are mostly catalyzed or aggravated by the pandemic, no doubt about it. But today, if you look at the global oil industry, you see certain predominant situations prevailing in the industry. That is worsening fiscal performance of the oil companies. Oil companies are making a lot of profit internationally because of the large-scale consumption of oil and gas, and any developing country or any developed country require the support of oil and gas to power their energy sources. So that way, the oil companies' finances have been completely deteriorated. Then development of unconventional resources have come. Earlier, people are talking about oil and gas. Nowadays, people talk about advanced fuels like hydrogen, then renewable energies. And apart from that, the oil and gas sector itself because of the invention of this hydraulic fracturing. Gas is being taken out from deeper sources, like where it is the gas is being held in much deep in the surface of the earth, or beneath the ocean. Then the consumer behavior is also fast changing with our energy requirements are fast changing. Lot of nations which is liberating their people towards more economic status are demanding more and more. The kind of fuel also, people are earlier people are using liquid fuel to power their cars. Nowadays people want gas and something electrical. Such work demand in the sector also has posed a major challenge for the oil and gas sector. Then the climatic agreements, almost all petroleum compounds invariably contribute to environmental pollution. And the commitments of the Paris Protocol and things like that, both global as well as regional, have impacted the growth of the industry to a very serious extent. So our 2030 agenda, the climatic relating to the sustainable development goals, etc., have a major bearing on the oil and gas sector. Then China impact. China has come up as a major producer of goods and services sector. So there, the presence of China itself has changed the fate of the oil and gas industry across the globe. Then the corporate social responsibility. Industry has been into the society for long, and today, without the support of the local communities, no industry can survive. Industry needs a constant monitoring to be done in-house to see that the local community is least affected, they are serviced better, and on account of their operation, nothing harm happens to the neighboring community. So such kind of responsibility is being entrusted on the institution, which has added the cost of doing business in this sector. Then emergence of new generation fuels, I said, mostly electrical as well as this renewable resources. Then the industry is becoming very smart. Earlier, the industry do not use modern tools, very rarely used modern tools of increased automation and other digitization capabilities. Nowadays, for survival, the industry is getting more and more smart. So the COVID-19 pandemic had widespread economic fallout. As I said earlier, the prices plunged well below the level needed to turn a profit. There is a certain amount to be spent for taking out oil or gas from the beneath of the earth, and it is to be processed and delivered to the customer. So the money we spend in the whole of operations, that amount is not at all fetching on sale of that product. That's the kind of situation that has come to this industry. So companies have to reduce expenditure, bring down their capital expenditure, and drive down operating costs. That is the kind of a situation that is happening in the industry. You see, the oil consumption in the pandemic time, it has plunged like anything. As the world production has comes down, the consumption has also come down. And so also the price has plunged. Even the price has gone to the negative levels. For storing oil, the oil companies need to pay a rent for their storages. Such a situation has come. The price has gone down below zero. That's also the situation we have observed during the pandemic period. See, to understand the crisis in a better, let us see. Unlike the usual market cycles, boom and bust, the coronavirus-linked price crash will serve as a warning for industry what is to come. That means there's a lot of discussion going on around the world. Will the consumption rise to the level that was previous to the 2020, that is 99, maybe September, October levels? That's a major discussion that's around that subject. The pandemic has wiped out almost a third of global demand. 1/3 of the global demand was reduced through lockdowns and travel bans. Still persists. There is international travel has not resumed, landing a direct hit on the sector already in the grips on crisis. The industry had several crises, environmental, economic, everything was there. But this pandemic has inflicted a greater blow to the already ailing industry. Most oil companies believe that wider adoption of electric vehicles and stricter regulation on emissions could see the peak demand 2030-35. So by 2030-35, that means in another maybe 10 to 15 years time, the oil demand will peak, and most people will be shifting to either electrical or other kinds of energy resources for powering their day-to-day requirements or consumption of primary fuels. Interestingly, major companies, their thinking has changed. You know, BP earlier British Petroleum, eventually shift faster into renewables. Their major oil refining and drilling companies, they are shifting to renewables like wind and solar, alongside kickstarting measures like carbon capture and storage to offset the CO2 emissions from fossil fuel production. Their thinking is reduce the investment in the oil and gas sector, shift to wind and solar renewables, and also whatever the oil refineries will be operating, the carbon dioxide emitted from the refineries have to be captured and stored beneath the ground. That is the kind of approach they are discussing. One of the world's most famous oil and gas companies is pinning its future on producing less oil and gas. They are going to reduce the business. They have a reasonably good level of understanding has come to them that oil and gas is not going to be their food earner or the bread earner. So they are reducing their business. What is happening in Lufthansa airline? German airline Lufthansa has warned that it could take years for passenger numbers to return to pre-crisis levels. It doubts the entire industry will be able to move as aggressively away from oil. The passenger traffic will not be resumed. That is the Lufthansa thinking. So what's the action plan? Global oil and gas leaders are being forced to consider new ways to adapt to the needs and safety of their people, adjust business operations and models, and satisfy evolving customer demands so that they can ultimately return to stability and eventually growth. Now the issue is return to stability. Already the industry is in crisis. So do whatever possible so that the situation is to be brought under control. Thereafter, work for the next generation growth. That is a strategy being adopted by the major oil companies. In the short term, they have to determine what immediate actions need to be taken to survive the turbulent period. So for the manufacturing sector, essential changes have to be undertaken. One is the constant need to expand into new markets and geographies. You cannot be contented with existing business. You will be going down. So you have to expand into new markets and geographies. Capitalize on technology to affordably adapt to new processes. Innovate, totally new processes have to be innovated and adopted. Today, something in the research desk, earlier it was taking years together. Now in next month or next in a 6 months time, whatever research finding you have observed in your laboratory, which could be commercially utilized with a reasonably good amount of economic viability, will get into the business, will get into the industry. People are looking at those things. There is no hesitation in absorbing any new technology or any idea that wait and see. Let somebody undertake the responsibility of initially trying it and then wait for that. Nothing is of that kind. Everybody is looking for innovative business models and business technologies to implement faster and more efficient ways of sharing fulfillment of information. Information is widely shared. Earlier, it was not that. It was something secretive with the original equipment manufacturer or original process owner. But today, things have changed and demonstrate compliance capabilities to win the new business. Environmental compliance is very, very important. So they all demonstrate. We say that we stand first in the environment protection. So that's also a technique that is being adopted to win business. On the distribution side, increasing demand for just-in-time inventory. Nobody wants to keep a store. Every store will be shut. Whenever there is a requirement of an inventory, it will come just in time. When the car is ready to roll out of your shop, the tire will come. That's a kind of inventory management which is possible right now without fail. That's it. The need to up-to-date supply chain visibility and service automation requirements from customers. All these things have been happening. This is the digital revolution. The ongoing digital revolution is generating more information than ever before in the state of planets. No, during every operation, we generate a lot of information. And that information we rarely use in our day-to-day business activities. That trend is going to dramatically change. And that is going to be a revolutionary change in reorganizing our industrial operations and also saving it so that people could sustain in the industry. A combination of satellites, drones, mobile phones, sensors, financial transaction technologies, and devices connected to the Internet of Things are collecting real-time data that could transform the management of resources and systems very, very effectively. There are a lot of, we are building ourselves with a lot of eyes and ears. Earlier, we had such equipment a lot given to us or acquired during our birth. Nowadays, we are adding more and more into it so that we can do more exercises, more manipulations, more computations, and receive more data so that our decision makings become very, very prudent. New data management technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cloud computing and cloud storage of information are making it possible to manage, share, process, and analyze large volumes of data. Earlier, it was not possible. The quantum of data generated from our operations are so large that it's humanly impossible to make use of the data, draw trends, predict what is going to happen, and take remedial situations. Nowadays, we are empowered to do that with a kind of understanding and learning we have, knowledge we have in the IT and our ITES capabilities. So automation and digitization has become the order of the day. The above challenges of the industry trends need to demand for technological innovations whenever the manufacturing industry. They require not only an advanced level of machinery automation. No, automation alone is not in the place, but also high-level digitization in both working process and information model. Both in gathering information and also in translating it into work. This digitization comes for a wider range of applications. What is the benefit? The advanced machinery automation enhances manufacturing efficiency. Finally, the efficiency and the productivity is going up. You know, we are restricted. Our operations are restricted by the thermodynamic incapabilities, both in the process design as well as our equipment limitation. They are the constraints. Our objective as a chemical engineer is to reach very close to the thermodynamic equilibrium so that our process becomes energy efficient, it will become environment friendly, and also it will become very, very profitable. But there are constraints. Constraints are there on our designs. Constraints are there on our equipment. So if we are the new capabilities which we are going to harness will certainly be addressing these two incapabilities which is imposed to us by the thermodynamic constraints. Digitization, that is networking of people, things, and the convergence of real and virtual worlds, that is enabled by the information and communication technology. The savior is information and communication technology. It enables industries to reach yet another level of accomplishment. In the industry, you know, if you trace the history of industries in the past 30, 40 years, there has been considerable improvement with regard to the process efficiencies, equipment efficiencies, reliability of plants, reduction in safety and hazardous incidents, improvement in safety, and all those areas, there has been considerable improvement, and that is how we reach the present state of affairs. But this capability of the IT and ITS capabilities will enable us to make a quantum jump. That is the most important thing. The digital ecosystem gives us an opportunity to have a quantum jump. How? It's a complex network of interconnected and socio-technological system with adaptive properties of self-organization and scalability. Those two are very, very important. Self-organization. You need not go intervene. Systems are able to control themselves. They talk to each other. And the scalability is also going to be very, very high. So scalability becomes high means we are operating much above the economy of scale. That means the profitability is on the increase. If you are able to self-organize, a problem is detected, immediately the system self-corrects it. No human intervention is needed. That means all the untoward accidents or efficiency lowering instances will be reduced. And that way also the process attains a high degree of reliability. Both these combined, the system will, the business will work better. In this sense, the digital ecosystem, much like a neutral ecosystem, natural ecosystem, are characterized by competition and collaboration. among its diverse components. You look at the natural systems. Natural systems operate more or less at the highest efficiency levels. Look at the human systems, the plant system, or any other system. The waste produced is reduced to the minimum. And the waste generated is also recycled back to the highest order, with the highest order of reliability and acceptability. That is our ideas with the kind of digital ecosystem to empower industries to attain the level of recycling or competition and collaboration that the natural ecosystems do have today, just imitating the natural processes. Then it's the interactions and linkages between these seemingly individual or autonomous entities that make the system functional. These capabilities, it is maybe individual-like capabilities. Those capabilities are entrusted on the autonomous entities, and that is how the human intervention is eliminated. So the Internet of Things is leading to Industry 4.0. You know that Industry 4.0 is well understood by a lot of, I think, our younger generation must know that the industrial revolution started in the 18th century, the mid 18th century. That was the power of the mechanical power, which went to the Industry 2.0 with the electrical power. And with the onset of computers in the 20th century, the Industry 3.0 has come. Now with the digitization and the globalization of the economic globalization, and also with the new kind of developments in the ITS technology, Industry 4.0 or digitization has become a major revolutionary concept that is brought into the development of industries. So the third industrial revolution took place towards the end of 20th century. The third revolution is characterized by use of electronics. Electronics came. Earlier it was electricals and mechanical power. IT to drive the automation manufacturing process. Our industries are becoming more and more autonomous. That is a main added strength which we have captured over the years. Digitization of manufacturing continues to enable flexible control of production and the cyber physical systems which are networked in real time. So as soon as the process is happening or the system is in operation, we would like to make process changes so that the system operates very close to the optimum level. In the digitized manufacturing, products are uniquely identifiable, known their own history and current status and alternative routes to achieve their target state. That is, with regard to a particular product, the product we call our inanimate project. Everything we called inanimate. Now these inanimate objects are able to understand their position, their history is known and status is known, and that way they could interact with their counterparts and achieve better. So the Industry 4.0 throws out several tools. All these tools are very, very important. That is data analytics. That means the volume of data which we have processed over, amassed from our industrial operations have been analyzed to know the trend. What is the current trend of operation? What is going to happen in the near future? How are we able to control that? And how are we able to control the predictive way of approaching the problem this analysis of data provides? So there are the descriptive analysis which will profess the trend. The diagnostic analysis will tell you what has happened to the machine, what has happened to your business, how your sales have come down over the period of time, or how did the compressor fail or the equipment fail. And then from the data, we also be able to do what's going to happen in the next week or in the next, say, over a period of time, what is going to happen, how much remaining life is available in that particular equipment. And with this, we will be able to predict what kind of remedial action we may have to take. So we are empowered with that kind of knowledge. Certainly it will add on to the reliability of existing systems. The Internet of Things, we all know, earlier I was explained that the networking of computers, sensors, and networks to monitor and the interconnectivity of them gives a lot of strength for the manufacturing operations. Cloud computing has come up in a big way. Today, this the vast amount of resources you have to spend, be it in building large-scale servers, storages, databases, network, software, all those things is available at a price. Software is available at a price. You need not buy all these kinds of large high-cost softwares. They are available to at a price. You can store your data most safely in a cloud storage. All these things are there. So the speed, your cost has reduced. The speed of your operation has considerably increased. The global scale, the networking has become very large scale. And at the same time, your productivity and performance, your reliability, safety, security, everything is on the high end. That is the beauty of cloud computing. Robotics is another important. You are engaging robots, multiple purpose robots are engaged in difficult situations in industrial operations, as well as operations are so monotonous and things like that. Well-engineered monitor robots are coming into play in a big way. And they are able to, we are able to program them so that they deliver the right kind of service to a particular business. And today we are also able to develop humanoid robots, who will exactly think and work as people. That's also possible, and that is the kind of advantage that the industry is going to derive in the near future. That is humanoid robots, automated robots, and teleoperated robots. These robots could be operated from a distant place. You need not, your oil and gas pipeline may run to thousands of kilometers. Sitting from your control room or console, you will be able to operate these pipelines and divert flows or any other things, take it for maintenance, etc. with the support of teleoperated robots or augmenting robots. You can augment a particular requirement of manpower with the robots. Then comes artificial intelligence. I need not tell you, because you will be using some kind of a gadget in your day-to-day life with the artificial intelligence embedded on it. You can have the imaging, the imaging of your photography, that is imaging capabilities have enhanced. Your computer vision, your cameras can visualize what is happening in remote areas, and such automated automation in several sectors of manufacturing and business, even in energy business or other activities, has come up in a big way. That is our own reality or our understanding. Then industrial automation, I need not tell you, because people are very well acclaimed to industrial operation. Now the new generation automation thinking is totally different from what we had in the past. That is innovative models, machines interacting with the machines and things like that. The man behind the machine is another machine. That situation has come. Then 3D printing, you are able to print everything you want. That's a new kind of manufacturing, which has revolutionized. So anything you can print on a three-dimensional platform with the material of construction, whatever you want. And that has given very much recovery of your waste, reduction of your waste material and things like that. Then blockchain, it's a ledger. So fault-free transfer of assets, that has become very, very important. Data transmission, etc., has become very, very easy and convenient with the adoption of blockchain mechanism. All these things are very important, and a separate seminar you may be able to organize to explain each of these in detail and also illustrate from our day-to-day life, so that how important these things are going to be in your day-to-day life will be clearly evident from that. So we have an integrated value chain, and all these empower your decision making. The management chooses to employ a new version of management. The kind of industrial management which we are seeing is totally waxing out. Nowadays, to fulfill objectives such as generating, analyzing, and communicating data to network for a wide range of new technologies, that's all culminating in the creation of values. This will give you a competitive, additional and added competitive edge for. What is that? As massive digitization promise lower costs, improved product quality, waste reduction, flexibility, efficiency, and short response time to market demands. You need not, the customer need not wait for long. It's readily available. So these are the empowerment that is provided with this, and that's a transformation is also very important. Robot digital system is needed. You have to build these systems in a very robust manner. with a very high degree of data information transformation, insights, incubators, and lot of things which are very, very valuable playground for our startup engineers and such people. Then the infrastructure digitization, that is the infrastructure required for digitization capability is very, very important. These are the area where our country has to focus, particularly in the rollout of the 5G technology and things like that is very, very important. All these things will empower the quality of management which we have in our. So also the processing, not only from the infrastructure, in the process line also, with the various analytical methods involving artificial intelligence and machine learning, used to detect patterns, identify trends, determine interactions, optimize variables, and make predictions. All these things are very important. That means there's a constant transformation of data into information. Data as such may not be useful to you, but when data is translated to information, and that information is classified into various forms, so that you can draw conclusions, and those conclusions will appeal to your intellect to take a totally different kind of a decision. That's the beauty of this new generation tools. But still, there are major challenges are there. There are a number of challenges. It is not easy, but the system, the science itself is developing. Data standardization. These equipment, they need standardized data. The value lies in interoperability between systems. There are different systems developed by different vendors. So there must be a common standard protocol that is needed for utilizing the data and making it to suit our requirements. Then the capital investment. The capital expenditure is going to be very, very high. Even India, we have limited capabilities in cloud storages. Most of our people store in the Amazon cloud, sitting elsewhere in the globe. So data storage is going to be a major investment area, and that throws up a major opportunity for the country also. Then adoption of larger industry, large network creation is required. Then cyber security. Recently, that there is a pipeline disruption. The Chinese have disrupted some pipelines in the US. So cyber security is going to be a very, very major challenge. But in the end, apart from all these challenges, you have to see that for survival and growth, digitization is essential. The effective function of modern oil and gas facilities involve tremendous planning and scheduling, encompassing the digitization drive with regard to procurement, production, quality control, safety and environment, offsites and utilities, marketing, logistics, everywhere. You decipher the industry into different segments. Everywhere, the requirement is very much pronounced to see that the industry tides over the present day situation. Maintenance very important. Earlier we were talking about preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, etc. Nowadays people talk about totally different kind of reliability centered maintenance. Future, the remaining life assessment and things like that. Corrosion management. When in the corrosion management, you make occasional checking of the vessel equipment, etc. And when failure happens, everybody is worried. Nowadays, there's a constant monitoring is possible, and the kind of corrosion loss in a country is very, very high. So that is being constantly monitored, and you are advised well in advance so that the corrosion does not bring any of the disruption of your operations. Data security is also very important. We have reliable systems. Our government has put up very reasonably good systems. This is an area where a lot of young engineers can work very well, and not much capital expenditure is required like other process development or catalyst development. This is an area where youngsters brainy students can contribute their might so that the nation has also benefited in a big way. Then the turnaround management. Industrial turnaround is very, very important. And the turnaround time is loss of production. So our idea is to see that with the minimum time, the downtime, we would like to bring the process back. The downtime is required for inspection of vessel internals, catalyst change, equipment replacement, cleaning of old equipment, hooking up retrofit systems, and a lot of things. But we want to reduce the time, make everything ready, plan it so successfully that it takes the minimum time and no failure occurs. That is, with the help of artificial intelligence and real-time modeling, we could generate such information. and as concluding in the system, as in the oil and gas industry, how it's going to impact. My comments are like this. The industrial Internet of Things allows delivery of a large volume of data at greater speeds and lower costs. The data transmission speeds have increased, the cost is coming down. A recent Gartner survey says that nearly half of the organizations implementing IoT technologies were currently using or were planning to use digital twins. Most of these people are either using it or planning. According to a recent research report, market value of digital twins is estimated to grow 3.8 million 19 to 35.8 million 2025. In a matter of 6 years, how many times it is? 9 times it has gone up. See the potential. Companies like Royal Dutch Shell, harnessing the power of digital transformation over 2 decades, optimize its operation and drive enterprise-wide performance. Major oil companies have started using this. It's a wedding of operational technology and information communication technology. The strength of operational technology and the information technology. India is a very good software power. The soft computing power combined with the industrial operations, the mechanical engineers, the electrical engineers, the process engineers working together, we could create a world where our nation rules better. For sharing 15 to 10%. So naturally, with the use of all these things, there will be nearly some 25% of savings will be happening from existing operations. And my suggestion is, it would be wise if the IT group takes 10% and leave the 15 to the operating group, so that the industry will survive very much in the future. So this is the initiative. This digital transformation issue. This is a last World Economic Forum in 2020 said that the oil and gas sector cumulative assessed value of society and industry is 1,582 billion. It could deliver trillion in value of business and society across sectors over the next decade. That is the potential of this digital transformation efforts. But there are barriers, regulatory frameworks, infrastructure gaps, lack of public trust in new technologies are all there, but we have to overcome these and create a new world of a new business prospect in the coming years. I think our young engineers will have a tremendous opportunity in these sectors, so that they could utilize their intelligence and besides making them a good career in engineering, we also advance our country to for its next generation of growth. With this, I conclude, and I thank Mr. Anil and others for giving me an opportunity to present this before you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very, very good presentation. I think our students must have, they are all benefited by your presentation. And in near future, we'll call you again for one of the presentation on some other issues of chemical engineering. Thank you very much, sir. Sanjay Kumar ji.
Yes, sir.
I would invite any interaction, any question from the participants, students. Chadda Sahab, you had some questions? Chadda Sahab, are you there? Any questions? Singhal Sahab is there. Singhal Sahab is the National President of Water and Environment. He is based in Delhi. I happen to be the chairman of Water and Environment in Chhattisgarh. So he is our national president. Singhal Sahab, please introduce. Singhal Sahab is there. So I think if there are any questions. Hello. Chadda Sahab, where is Chadda? Chadda Sahab.
Mr. Singhal is speaking something, but not heard.
Chadda Sahab, are you there? Are you there? Chadda Sahab is there. I'm seeing him, but I think he's
mute. I think.
Ramakant, unmute him.
Chadda sir, please unmute your mic, sir.
Unmute. Chadda Sahab, you are asking a question, na? I think he is.
I have requested to unmute.
Okay, now it is there.
Please read. Yes.
Yes, sir. The question is to Mr. Saha. This fluidized bed, can it be used for as a conveying also?
Saha, sir.
Hello.
Saha sir. Ramakant.
Sir, please unmute your mic.
Yes, now it's okay. Yes, I got your question. It is very much possible. That is one of the advantageous points of the fluidized bed technique, to use this in conveyors also. That can be very much useful. Not only theoretically, that is practically as well.
Sir, compared to pneumatic conveying, will it be more economical?
Once from I don't have any practical experience, or that practical work I have not done, but at least theoretically I can tell you from Kunil Evansville, who is the mother of the fluidization engineering book author, last 30 years back, what he has written. So the same thing as for, advanced version I have been teaching in BTech and MTech level, as well as in PhD program also, I have been using the same book. There also I have found this is one of the very prestigious, rather very effective application areas of the fluidized bed technique in conveying. So once it is there, so definitely exactly what may be the disadvantageous points, that clearly it has not been spelled out. That has to be in detail. One has to think, one has to come across, one has to see.
Thank you, sir.
And sir, Dr. Nair sir, Dr. Nair, sir.
Saha was the question, sir.
Yes.
You unmute yourself, please.
I have, yes, unmuted.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Nair,
Please,
perhaps
please,
he has to
please.
unmute. Dr. Nair, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, please.
In fact, it is a coincidence. I am going to organize one international conference, online international conference on COVID challenges of energy and environment management for sustainable growth of the process industries.
Okay.
So had I got some just now earlier connection with you, I would have just now put your name as an advisory committee member. So anyway, by the way, I'm saying that some 15 number of foreign university professors, they have agreed to be the members of that international advisory committee.
Very good.
And some 50 number of IIT professors, they have sent their concern, and accordingly have put their names as the national advisory committee member.
Okay, very good.
So I would like to just now invite you to give some, either in terms of the keynote address or at least plenary lecture, or some way I'll be just now inviting you. So please give me, I have missed your number. Could you please give your number and that mail ID so that I'll contact you? And Professor Kumar, I'll just, I'll take these advantages, let me take the indulgence. Since I am still the life member of this Institute of Engineers, I was very much involved with the Institute of Engineers. So let me take this advantage from your side also.
This is a platform.
Yes, this is a good platform. Yes. Sir, Dr. Nair, sir, I just skipped up your number and the
my number is 94471
94471
54540
54540. Let me repeat, 94471 54540.
Correct.
And the mail ID, sir?
Nair, N-A-I-R.
N-A-I-R.
MPS, Mumbai Police Sugar, MPS 50.
MPS 50.
Correct. At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
I have a website, and just search MP Sukumar Nair, you will get everything in that.
What is that website? www. I just oversight it.
drmpsukumarannair.com.
drmpsukumarannair.com. Okay. So I'll just now contact you. It is a platform, Professor Kumar. I'll appreciate it.
Sitting in Cochin, I am prepared for anything.
Okay, right. You will be sitting in. This is online program. This is international conference. It is an international conference. So
that is the entertainment nowadays. That's entertainment nowadays.
Yes.
For people like us,
exactly. And it's a very related, and the COVID challenges on that energy and environmental management of that sustainable growth of the process industries.
Very good.
So I think I got, let me get the opportunity to take your service in terms of just
Thank you.
delivering some lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, if you miss anything, please ask us. Ask Sanjay Kumar. He has everything about Nair Sahab. And
Yes.
otherwise, you can contact me. I have his number and everything.
Sure,
So,
sure.
so thank you, sir. Thank
So,
you. If there are no questions, Singhal Sahab, you want to contribute something?
Singhal Sahab, the mute, he is still on unmute. Mute.
You must be knowing Singhal Sahab.
The face seems to be familiar. I don't know.
He was the council member also.
Yes, but he is on unmute. Let him unmute. Let only I can hear
unmute.
him.
Singhal Sahab, unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Unmute. You are not heard.
I am not here. We are not hearing you. Singhal Sahab, please unmute.
Unmute. Ramakan, could you do something about it?
I have requested, sir. This is Singhal, sir.
Yes.
I have requested.
Now Mr.
Ramakan,
Singhal
please
Sahab
write.
could be heard. Please.
Hello. Ramakan.
Yes,
Singhal Sahab.
Hello, Dr. Diana here. Very good evening to you. And you have given a very enlightening and useful talk on the subject. Congratulations to you and congratulations to Mr. A.K. Sharma for organizing regular seminars, regular webinars on this platform. He is a very dynamic person. And I feel he should head this institution of engineering for years to come. He is very dynamic person. I again congratulate you and him also. Thank you so much.
And Sahasab also. Singhal Sahab, Sahasab had a very good presentation before Mr. Nair.
By the way, at that time,
probably you were not there at that time.
Mr. Shah,
Yes, sir.
by the way, at that time I was having another meeting, so I could not listen to you. But as Mr. Sharma is telling, it must have been a definitely very nice lecture. I congratulate you also, Mr. Shah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have come towards the end
and
of
I
the...
will like to join your international conference whenever it is. I am a person from environment from last 50 years.
Okay, sir. Then why don't you take this advantage of getting your mobile or just contact mobile?
You can take everything from. I don't want to waste the time of other listeners. This is double 91030.
991030. Okay.
2826.
2826. Give
single
your mail ID. Mail ID.
Single JC SINGHAL.
SINGHAL. Single.
gmail.com.
Single.
JC J for Japan, C for Canada.
Okay. Single JC at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it. I'll send my information brochure for call for papers.
If there are no other...
Professor Kumar, I should be thankful to you that
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm taking the opportunity, rather I'm just
so kind of you, sir.
If you don't take that, I'm using this platform. Rather,
this is the beauty of this digitization only.
Platform. So that
yes, correct.
Give and take policy, just now every
certainly.
You will be getting benefited. I'll also equally benefited out of that also. This is a profession. This is in fact this is a blessing in disguise, sir. This is a blessing in disguise that we are normal. So this type of online programs, online webinars, this has become, the COVID has made us blessing in disguise.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if there are no questions, I will request Sanjay Kumarji to please propose a word of thanks. If everybody agrees, we propose a word of thanks, sir.
Okay.
With the permission of Nair Sahab, Saha Sahab, Singhal Sahab.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
So
please, Sanjay Kumar.
Yes, sir. Now it is the time to propose vote of thanks with the permission of Chairman Shri Anil Kumar Sharma. So first of all, I am going to express my heartiest thanks on behalf of entire Institution of Engineers Chhattisgarh State Center to our chief guest, Dr. M.P. Sukumaran Nair, FIE, who has given very informative talk in this evening. He told, with the help of various interesting facts and figures regarding energy contribution in India and world also, and he told digital revolution. Digitization is taking place everywhere. He told very nicely about Industry Industry 4.0 revolution, and then effect of IoT, blockchain, cloud computing, etc. That how these technologies are going to change the environment and world. So thank you, sir.
Thank you,
People
sir.
have
Thank you.
been benefited a lot with your deliberation. And also, we are very much thankful to you for sparing your very, very valuable time out of your busy schedule. Thank you once again. Now, I am giving my heartiest thanks to Dr. S.N. Saha, who has been with us throughout in this evening. I'm privileged to work with him, and I know him personally also, that how fine academician he is, and as well as administrator also. So I have told that what you have, what is the gist of your lecture, but again you told about the coal, etc., and very nicely you told fluidized bed technology, and this is very much relevant to our theme of today's webinar, recent trends in chemical technology. So thank you once again, Saha sir, and we will remain connected, and I will keep on informing about this, about the events. Almost every month we have organized since the outbreak of this pandemic. We are organizing in different areas the webinars under the guidance of our chairman, sir, engineer Anil Kumar Sharma. He is constantly persuading the things, and he has enormous contacts, with the help of which we are getting very good learned speakers, and in this way our all the webinars are becoming a lot of successful. So all the dignitaries, students, staffs, and members of Institution of Engineers, council members from all over India and from state and Chhattisgarh. So I am thankful to all of you. It is not possible to take name of all. Still, many participants are in contact. They are connected here, particularly Kasu Saab for reading the biodata, and again Sharma Saab, who read the biodata for Dr. Nair. So I am thankful to all of you, and if I have forgotten to take name of anybody, please excuse. Now it is the time to take to stand up for national anthem. Please stand up. Ramakant, please play.
Yes.
क्या हुआ?
National anthem. National anthem, sir.
Yeah. Jana. भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा शुभ आशीष मांगे जनगण मंगल जय जय भारत भाग्य विधाता जय है जय है जय जय जय
भारत माता की जय.
जय. Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
Single sir,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. ठीक है?
Sir, should we end the session?
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.